A video call from Mumbai to London does not go up to a satellite, it goes into the sea. Your voice leaves the country through a cable lying on the floor of the ocean and it comes back on a beach thousands of kilometers away. Almost nobody knows that, and if you ask somebody how their internet reaches another continent, the usual answer is that it just does, which is a completely reasonable thing to think. Your connection to the other side of the world is a chain and it has about five links in it: your device, your internet provider, a plane building near a beach, a cable under the ocean. Then the same three again backwards on the other side. That is the whole thing. Every one of those links is a real object sitting in a real place, so you can walk down the chain one at a time and look at each of them properly. The Wi Fi in your house is wireless and it is the only wireless part of this entire journey, which tends to surprise people the first time somebody points it out. It covers the first few meters, your laptop to the box in the corner of the room, and no further than that. That box is a router. It is called that because its one job is working out where things should go next, and it makes that decision again for everything you send. After that box, everything is glass, a thin strand of it buried in the roads running across the country to the coast, carrying your call as pulses of light. No radio anywhere. On the coast, there is a building, and it is usually a very plain one, set back from the sand with nothing on the outside telling you what it does. In Mumbai, it sits near Warsaw Beach. It is called a cable landing station. It is the place where a country's connection to another continent physically arrives, coming up out of the water and into a building you could walk past on a Sunday without ever wondering what it was for. The cable comes out of the sea, crosses the sand under a manhole cover, and ends in a room. The cable itself is about as thick as a garden hose, 17 to 25 millimeters out in deep water, and much thicker near the shore, where it is wrapped in steel armor. That is where things hit it. The part doing the work is not the armor, it is a few strands of glass at the center, each one about the width of a human hair, and the light carrying your call travels down those, bouncing along the inside of the glass for thousands of kilometers without ever leaving it. There are over 1.5 million kilometers of this on the seabed. That is nearly four times the distance of the moon lying on the floor of the ocean. Most people assume satellites are the real backbone. They are not close. Of everything crossing an ocean, fewer than 4 bits in every thousand go by satellite. The cable carrying that Mumbai call has a name, AAE1. It runs 25,000 kilometers from Mumbai through the Red Sea and the Suez Canal, and it comes ashore in the south of France. And AAE1 is not the only cable, it is one of more than 600. Your internet provider does not buy space on one of them, it buys space on several at once, deliberately, long before anything has gone wrong, because a company whose whole business is staying connected does not put that on a single piece of glass. Cables break constantly, two to four of them somewhere in the world every week, which works out at about 200 a year, and those two numbers come from different people counting separately. That is roughly one every other day, and you have never noticed a single one. Six of every seven is a fishing boat or a ship's anchor, not sharks. Somebody counted for 8 years, and shark bites cost none of them. In February 2024, a cargo ship called Rubymar was hit by a missile in the Red Sea. The crew got off, the ship then drifted for days with its anchor down, dragging along the bottom, which is close to the one thing you must never do above a cable route. Its anchor probably cut three cables, one of them was AAE1, the exact cable this video has been walking down. Cloudflare watches a very large share of the world's internet traffic, so they were in a position to measure what happened next. Across every affected country, they recorded no loss of traffic at all. None. That is a stronger result than it sounds because it means the cut never showed up even as a dip in the line. Nothing you do reaches the other continent over one cable. So cutting one did not remove your path, it removed one of several. The part that surprises people is that no human was involved anywhere in this and nobody at the company noticed the cut and pressed something to fix it. It happens in two places, one after the other, and both of them are automatic. The equipment at each end of a cable is always listening for the light. When the light stops arriving, that is the whole detection. There is nothing to diagnose. The moment it stops, the traffic is moved onto a spare path that was already sitting there, open and paid for. The standard that equipment is built to says the switch has to finish in less than 50 thousandths of a second. That is less than half the time it takes you to blink. Your call does not even stutter. The second place is the routers, the same kind of machine as the box in your house all the way up. Routers spend their whole lives telling each other which places they can still reach. When a link dies, one of them stops saying it can reach you that way. Every router that hears it picks its next best route, and the traffic goes a different way within seconds. People say the internet routes around damage, which makes it sound like magic. It is not magic. Somebody paid in advance for a second path, and the machinery uses it without asking. A second path only helps if it can carry the load. A spare road that is already full is not a spare road. In March 2024, four cables went down off West Africa at once. Traffic was pushed onto another cable called Ikeano. It carried four times its normal traffic and kept going, which tells you something useful about how much room is sitting unused out there on an ordinary day. It is enormous. In January 2022, a volcano erupted near Tonga. It cut the cable connecting the country to everyone else, and there was no second path to move that traffic onto because there was no second cable. Tonga was dark for 38 days, 5.5 weeks, with a repair ship on its way and a country waiting. The ship replaced about a ninth of the cable. That is what a repair looks like. You lift it off the seabed, cut out the damaged part, and splice in new cable. There is a word for having more than one of something so that losing one costs you nothing. Redundancy. And redundancy is not something a cable has, it is something a place either has or does not. Cables do not spread themselves evenly around the planet, they follow coastlines and they crowd through the same straits and the same shallow water because that is where it is possible to lay them. So one event can take several at once. That is what happened off West Africa, reportedly an underwater rock fall, and it took four cables in one go. 13 countries felt it, some for hours, some for days. Getting all four back until the end of April, 6.5 weeks of ships working one break at a time. So your connection to the other side of the world is a chain of about five links, and the long one is glass on the floor of the ocean. You are joined to that chain many times over, which is why one cut usually changes nothing you can notice. And where there is only one, it goes down exactly the way you would expect. Alright, if you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.